Okay, this is the Rick Wills Awful Experience. And right now I'm cleaning out this freezer, which has been in storage for a long time in a workshop of an outdoor power equipment dealership in the service area. So it's covered with grease from just stuff in the air from parts and exhaust from the forklift and a bunch of other stuff, and it just was a shop use. Now we're moving to our conference room. We want to clean it up is the bottom line. My method for cleaning really grimy shit is a process that is derived from the Boy Scout 3-pot method for cleaning dishes when you're camping. So it involves 3 pots. Step 1 before you get to the pots though is just get, and this one, your own conscience and environmentalism. I'm not sure if this is the optimal way to do it, but you just want to take a plain paper towel, usually the cheapest, lowest grade one you can. What we tend to do is if we use a paper towel to dry our hands or something and it's still clean, we just set them aside and then we'll use them to wipe up grease or whatever. So it's going to go to the landfill, but it's grease that was going to go someplace into the environment anyway. So it's a good way to repurpose the used paper towel or whatever. So I've just picked one up from that stack and I'm just getting some of the big level grease off of it. And the idea is to just get what you can so you're just less touching the disgustingness and it doesn't contaminate your dishwater as fast. So if you've ever lived in a house without a dishwasher or done hand wash of dishes, you know you want to do the cleanest stuff first and work your way to the dirtiest stuff. Same thing with the water. So right now, I've just got a sponge and 3 pots of soapy water. They're both starting out very clean, but the idea is that one is hot, sudsy water that I want to use to apply stuff. And then once the thing is contaminated, the 3rd pot, I'll jump to right now, is just, so I'm going to take some clean water to start with, and I want the water and the soap to kind of do the work for me. So now I'm just sort of putting some of it on the scummy parts so it can start to soak in and let the chemical reactions that soap does basically to start loosening up this stuff and everything. So I'm just giving it a kind of once over. Then I don't want this thing, now that it's touched some dirtiness, I want to keep these waters as clean as possible. So the idea is to just wring out the sponge always in your 3rd pot, which is just starting empty. That's just your really garbage water. You want to get it just as clean as you can. Then you want to, the middle pot is really for cleaning your cleaning utensils. So it's okay to wring that out as you're cleaning it back into that because it's going to get kind of gross. But now I've got a relatively clean rag. So now I can go back into my cleanest soap to try to keep the soap as clean as possible. Or if I'm not actually doing anything with it, I can just go in there and just start putting in some elbow grease or whatever I want to do. So that's the basic process. And in fact, we'll pause for now. So one thing to note for right now, I'm not really trying to get this. I'm going to borrow from Quentin Tarantino and the guy that's the bad lieutenant, Harvey Keitel, and say, I'm not trying to get this fridge spick and span for right now because it's Thursday, which is a travel day for me, and I've got to get on the road in about a half an hour to an hour. And what I really want to do is just get this to the point where, especially the freezer, that I can get it clean enough that I can deal with it later, but that it's not going to freeze on a bunch of stuff. So I'm taking this fridge out of storage, I'm going to turn it on. So now that I've got the water in there, I've got to get it clean enough to get the water out of it, basically, so it doesn't freeze and leave a bigger job for me when I want to clean it next week. So that also is playing into the notion of don't let the good enough, or don't let the perfect get in the way of the good enough is an expression I've heard a lot. And it is something that I've never had that problem because I've never achieved perfection. I usually have a hard time even getting to the good enough stage. I tend to overthink things sometimes, and I want to avoid doing that now. But, so I'm trying to be like Harvey Keitel. I'm both the advisor to myself, Harvey Keitel, and I'm Jules and, not Vern, but you know, Samuel L. Jackson and Vinnie Barbarino. I'm trying to get this done before Quentin Tarantino's wife comes home and finds a dead inward in the freezer. with that said, now I'm no longer focused on really getting this cleaner. It's good enough. I'm going to focus on getting the water out of it. So, and I'll clean the rest of the refrigerator next week. So right now I'm just focused more on this. So what I need to do is I'm going to pause and I will talk about this in a second. So for those that may not be aware, I have ADHD, and so what you'll see as a theme throughout these videos is this is not only how to get stuff done, in my opinion, but what I have found the best for so far for me that works with my ADHD. Now, I love models, but the best thing about models is that they're abstractions of reality, and the best models are like a good software engineering design. They can be superclassed or subclassed, or they can be abstract classes and so forth. And so, right now, I'm taking that same three-pot method, but now that I'm in sort of cleanup mode of the cleanup, I'm really more about, now again, this job isn't perfect, so it's just about getting it good enough. And what I really want to do is, there's clean and then there's sort of cruddy, if you will. There's still some schmutz in here around a few different places that, frankly, I'm not too concerned about getting it factory fresh right now because I want to start using it. But by the time we use this conference room for client and vendor meetings and so forth, I want it to be even cleaner. But for example, most people aren't going to duck down and look up at the top of this. But if they do, I want it to be presentable, but not perfect. And right now, more importantly, because of the time constraints I'm under, I want to make sure that my primary objective here isn't to get it done so much as it is to get it so that it doesn't freeze with a bunch of dirty water in there. So I took that third pot that had just been pure discharge, and now I've got it filled with some clean water, mainly for rinsing the sponge though, because I don't want it at this point. I've already kind of gotten all of the soap out of it, if you will. Now I'm just trying to double check that and triple check it, and ordinarily that would then be where I would stop for now and consider this mothball and just let evaporation take care of it. Especially, ironically, things tend to, in an air conditioned environment, evaporate faster on a cold day where you're running the AC, the hot day where you're running the air conditioner, than on a warm day, because the AC is going to do the work of pulling moisture out of the air in general and so forth. But because this is going to be a closed environment, I'm more concerned about dryness than absolute cleanliness now. So I've got it in kind of as dry as I can with a sponge. I meant to get paper towels, but I don't see any. Oh, here they are. I was going to use toilet paper as a backup, but now I've got some paper towels. So again, my real goal here is just to get all of the water out, because this isn't a very expensive refrigerator. It's not going to get all of the residue out of here completely. And anyway, please let me know in the comments if anything here is useful to you. If it is, then I might actually film a more robust and high production quality video of any of it. But if no one has any positive feedback on this, it'll be one of the many things in the Rick Wills awful experience that is good for me, but if it's not good for the rest of the world, no harm done. So I'm quite proud of the job I've done in terms of, if you look at Six Sigma, you talk about spec limits. In terms of the spec limits, I wanted to get this to a level of cleanliness. I can very definitely know what those spec limits are, but I can't articulate it well. But I have satisfied myself that this is within the spec limits of cleanliness that I want for this stage of the conference room repurposing project. I can see here a little bit of additional schmutz that, again, I wouldn't have even seen. My own refrigerator at home probably has some of that as well. But for now, that's good enough. It'll keep till the weekend when I'm back in town. I can do it. The next thing I'm going to do is just take a look at the refrigerator. Yeah, I don't even have time to deal with that right now. So that will just be same project next week.